on Sky News Live.
Welcome back to Media Week from the MCN upfronts. It's now time to take a look at how the share markets performed in the sector this week with IG.
Big week in the management side of media stocks this week. Really interesting also where it's coming from. Big story obviously this week is coming out of News Corp with the fact that you've seen Chris Mitchell, who is a 24-year veteran and a 42-year veteran in journalism as a whole, standing down at News Corp, being replaced by Paul Whittaker. Now, even with somebody of Paul Whittaker's quality and experience, it is always going to be a little bit of a dampener, and the share price did move a little bit lower. He's obviously a standout candidate and has really driven the Australian particularly very hard over the last sort of 15 years that he's been in charge. He even got a very special mention by Rupert Murdoch himself. Moving to the other side, however, Nine has been in the news as well for good and also for negative reasons. The good news is obviously that we are seeing Amanda Lang, who is a clear standout also on that part, moving into the 2IC position after the big shake-up last week. She negotiated the new NRL deal, which was clearly a very good move from her behalf, and has been in the company for at least 10 years now as well, and is a clear mover. The other side of the equation from Nine is what's going on around Win and the negotiations around their current deal. It is actually probably the biggest talking this week, in the fact that Nine are trying to negotiate the current deal, which sees roughly Win paying around about 39% of advertisement numbers and moving up to 55%, and Win is very much resisting that change. There's even talk that they could force them into a blackout and actually seeing content go off screen. That would be a big move, considering Nine would lose roughly around about $1.5 million a week and Win would lose 2.2. So watch that space. I think that's the most interesting development in the media space at the moment, that renegotiation, and it clearly just brings back into it the whole idea around the reach rule and why there wants to be so much talk and so much merger movement in that media space.
We're joined now by Mark Frayne, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer of MCN. Mark, welcome back to Media Week.
Thank you.
Just quickly tell the viewers why we're dressed a little bit differently today. It's a bit warm out here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of topped around about 39 degrees out here and at MCN House. So I've taken the decision to kind of be comfortable in our own environment, and I think that's the right way to go.
Yeah, just the environment to be talking about sales.
Perfect environment,
yeah, absolutely. Now tell us about the landmark system. We've heard a lot about that in the past. You guys have done a lot of work. You got it up and running probably a year ago, I guess. I think it launched. Will 10 be on that now, or eventually? What's happening?
Yeah, they will be. I mean, we're 18 months into the MCN journey with Landmark, and 10 will go on there in Q2 next year. And I think that the industry is anticipating that with enormous excitement. They've seen the benefits of Landmark to the Foxtel business, and I know we can apply the same kind of methodology and capability to 10 moving forward.
Have you made a lot of learning since you started that? Did it go as you planned, or you've sort of modified your thinking? Or?
It's an interesting question. I think one of the things we're concerned about is how fast we could change the industry's perception. We talked a lot about buying audiences, not spots, last year. And the thing that's probably taken us by surprise is how much the industry has embraced it. It was clearly a need and a requirement that the industry wanted, and Landmark kind of filled that void. So, yeah, the thing that's been most surprising is just how fast some of the agencies have kind of taken us up on the offer.
While we're talking about offers to the market, tell us a little bit more about Multiview, and if that'll be available to 10 advertisers, and remind us again how big your Multiview panel is.
Yeah, so Multiview, last year we said we wanted to hit 200,000 homes as a Multiview panel, so we hit that about 4 weeks ago, and the next ambition is to take that to 500,000 homes, and that's not about a quest for further accuracy, that's just about giving us data capability to match that with more data sets. So taking a current 200,000 home panel with improved targeting capability across a free-to-air network is groundbreaking. It's groundbreaking in this market, and I think kind of post the work we've done during the upfronts, the global media industry will see it, and it will gain it. This again, not an arrogant statement, but it will be a world first in terms of targeting capability for a free-to-air network.
And Multiview, it doesn't give us ratings, does it? It just lets the advertiser have a better idea of who's watching, and they can target those viewers, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of define ratings. I think we've got a OzTam industry currency that we'll all continue to trade off, but the thirst for clients and agencies right now is just to buy beyond demographics. I mean, agencies and clients do that much work identifying who their consumer is. Multiview allows us to meet that in the middle and give them the opportunities to actually buy real consumer segments, which is great news.
A lot of people are expecting maybe 10's ad revenues to improve next year when they sort of cash in, and you like, on the audience growth this year. If that happens, how will we know if it's the market rewarding 10 or if it's good work that MCN's doing?
It's a great question I get asked often. I think if you look at MCN's growth over the past 12 months, that's been fuelled by innovation. It's been fuelled by what we presented 12 months ago. And taking 10 on that journey, I think you'll see 10's growth kind of continue, and I think you'll see that continually outstrip market performance. So yes, there'll be some audience growth benefit, but the industry wants innovation, the industry wants data capability, and the industry wants trading efficiency. We've kind of brought all that to Channel 10, and I think the advertisers and the agency groups will reward us for doing that.
The agency groups you talk to here, you're telling them about some of the content coming up, I guess, at both Foxtel and 10. A lot of them also went to the 10 up front. What's the feedback on the 10 content, and any offers yet for partnerships for Survivor?
Early days on kind of Survivor, given we're about 4 days since announcement, but I think there is, to your point about kind of content and the 10 up front last week, there's enormous confidence in 10 moving forward. We've taken the agencies over the past 3 or 4 weeks through content across 10, content across Foxtel, and a major piece on Fox Sports moving forward. You combine those three kind of content powerhouses, and as an advertiser and as an agency group, you go, we want to partner with them next year. There's solidarity, there's kind of consistency, and there's a great opportunity to kind of do different and better work next year. So I think in combination, we're in a very strong place going into next year.
Was there any nervousness, I guess, from you guys about the thought of Fox Sports not being able to tie up a deal with the NRL? That looks like that's not going to be a problem now. They look like they've got a pretty good package with everything live and maybe Friday night and Saturday night games. Does that make you guys sleep a bit more comfortably?
We were sleeping pretty well anyway, to be honest with you. But I think if you look at the kind of calibre of the Fox Sports business and what it's done to sports broadcasting in Australia, I think from our perspective there was no doubt that a deal would be done, and it'll be beneficial to Foxtel consumers moving forward, and ultimately our advertising partners. So no, we didn't lose any sleep. It was just a matter of time.
We heard from Anthony about the overall change of the MCN offer this year, but just tell us quickly maybe about the digital portfolio too. Is that much different to maybe 12 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's significantly different in terms of what we've charged our stakeholders to do. So, I mean, every year we go through a typical annual budget process, and part of what we say to our channel partners is we challenge them to produce more video content, we challenge them to develop better kind of mobile applications, and so many of our partners have done that. They've improved their kind of quality of video and the number of video streams we've got as a business. You add kind of 10 Play to Foxtel Go, and you've got an enormous kind of digital business. Combine that with Foxtel, combine that with 10, you've got a brilliant kind of television product to take to market.
That was Mark Frayne there from MCN. It's now time to look at the ratings for week 48, kicking it off with Free to Air. That is all we have time for on this special edition of Media Week from the MCN Upfronts. Nice to get out of the studio for a change, James.
Absolutely.
Our co-host James Manning, editor and publisher of Media Week. We've got more news and analysis coming up next.